Helen.
My day has been good. I went out for a clean-up exercise this morning. That sounds weird, but yeah.
Sorry, yes.
How has the day been?
Not much. Haven't really done anything. Not much.
Want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Alright. I'm in Yolua.
Yolua.
Yeah, in Nutritionist Seriously of Federal University of Agriculture. So, are you?
In Yolua, a fresh graduate of Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. My name is Ayofola. Alright. I'm not a fresh graduate. Am I? 2 years, is it fresh?
Yeah.
It's not fresh. I thought it was fresh. And I was told it.
Sorry.
Okay. I graduated with Geography and Environmental Management, Bachelor in Industrial Education, and I do environmental. I do sustainability, speak on sustainability a lot online and in person. It's nice to meet you. Cheers.
I'm just.
So, tell me, nutrition, what does it mean to you?
To me, nutrition is basically food and people. Food and people's health.
Food in people's health.
Food and people's health.
And so, what would you say is one shocking fact that nobody will believe about the food that they eat?
Portion control. Yeah. People tend to eat more, it's like just the way they see it. Yeah. Not considering the nutrients it's given or the usefulness of it's in the body. Yeah.
And you feel so. For example, I'm a heavy eater. I like to eat a lot. So you're saying that like me eating a lot is dangerous for me?
Not necessarily you eating a lot. Now, it's not about the a lot. It's about the content of the a lot. Yeah, put it that way. So now, is it just stereotyped to some certain thing? Is it varieties? Is it just you having probably just 2 different varieties on the plate and it's quite much? So it's based on the content of it and the quality.
There's something that is a very big conversation in the sustainability space, which is where I thrive. It's about food waste. What's your opinion on that?
Actually, food waste. It actually also comes from the fact that people are not eating or taking what they can actually eat on the go and what the body needs. So now you having leftovers and not probably putting it in the refrigerator or
Making sure that you don't waste it.
making sure you don't waste it. If you don't do that, then we tend to kind of dispose them. Now looking at our places we dispose things like food now, most of it are probably bare grounds, the soils, and it's kind of decomposes and affects it. Like some other nutrients are going down, some are escaping into the air, and it affects later on. It might not affect the present, but it's affecting the other crops and produce that are coming
long term. It's interesting that you say this as a nutritionist. There's something that is a very big conversation where greenhouse gases are emitted as a result of food waste. There's so much food waste that, first of all, the food is not enough that we currently produce. It may not be enough for the entire populace. So people waste it straight away. And obviously that affects hunger, right? That affects a lot of people that are hungry because food is, it's not enough already. And the fact that food that's wasted also contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, which at the end of the day leads to climate change. So it's interesting that you said that. Do you have questions for me?
kind of.
Okay. I'd like to hear it louder. Maybe, let me hear it.
Okay, now you talk about this greenhouse emission stores, like now not really now. I'm directing it to you. You already know it's an issue, right? And it's affecting the environment, the nutrition, and every other aspect. So, what are the things that are in place to kind of control it or some way out of it? Okay, now talking about the greenhouse gases, the emissions that comes out of it. Now, it affects quite a number of things. So, are there measures in place to stop it or to control it?
That's a very great question. There are measures in place, but the questions are they worked on? There are two strategies that are actively used in tackling the climate crisis, which is divided into adaptation strategies and mitigation strategies. Mitigation strategies are strategies that they use to reduce the amount of emissions that we're already taking. It means that at this point, we are cutting this, right? Stopping, right? While adaptation is more of like ways that we can manage it. We are putting in emissions, we are in ways that we can manage the situation. We have solutions for example, like renewable energy. If the major problem is energy, is our major problem. We need energy to drive our cars, energies for our houses, we need energy for every single thing. And for energy many times to be produced, it needs things like fossil fuels, like petrol that we use to power our generators, all of that. And because there are just a lot of people in the world, and there's a part of the world that is very, 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 very wasteful. And that's the global north. That's like the US, the UK. Africa emits less than 4% of emissions. There are countries that emit as high as 20%. I didn't mention the US. I didn't mention China. But there are countries that emit very high emissions. And these countries are hugely responsible for these things. And so all we are saying is transition into a cleaner form of energy. While Africa finds a way, like the whole of Africa, finds a way to adapt to these issues. Yeah. Yes, because Africa is like the most affected by these problems.
And how is that?
So the thing is, Africa already has multi-dimensional problems, from poverty to sometimes in some areas insecurity. It's a developing or underdeveloped place in the real sense. Unfortunately to say, I'm sorry I'm saying that, but there are a lot of problems in Africa that we have, right? We have energy poverty, we have food poverty, we have almost every form of poverty in Africa. And it's very, 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 very loud. And because of the fact that these problems are just there already, it is very difficult to now add the environmental impacts to it. Obviously, we are not the one causing it, like I said earlier. So they are the one causing it.
It's affecting us
more here because of our already existing issues. So outside of climate change, outside of nutrition, what are you interested in? Let's start eating.
Actually, this environmental stuff you're talking about, I used to have quite a number of questions about it because there was a time I attended a program and they were talking about climate and death. So I actually, at first I was like, what's the relation between the 2?
Mm-hmm.
And when I began to learn about climate issues and I'm confused about some things actually.
Mm.
So then when I knew what they were, so I got it in respect to nutrition. Like now, I'm really thinking of going into sustainable nutrition.
Sustainable nutrition?
Yeah.
And what does that involve?
That involves being conscious of food and health alongside the environment.
Nice. So it means like trying to ensure that the food that is on our table is not just health conscious, but is considerate to the environment.
So, yeah, exactly.
And at some point, I was vegan. It's interesting that you say this, which means I was not eating meat at all. And in my family, it's very, very huge or cultural. I'm very cultural, by the way, but also very respectful of different food cultures because different cultures have different peculiarities, different ideas, different people. But my culture is very heavy on eating meat. In fact, my grandma used to say this particular proverb in Yoruba. You're Yoruba, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a particular proverb in Yoruba which says "Ọ̀nà kò sẹ́ran lóúnjẹ mi ò jẹ." Right? Which means that a child who is not going to eat food without meat. It's an eulogy. It's an eulogy of eating, of a child that must eat meat to eat his food. Now, I know that the animal industry, like meat eating, right, contributes a huge amount to greenhouse gas emissions that is responsible for pollution. So, plants, animals, right, the way they are bred, especially like the way they are bred abroad, is such that they are put, for example, in a very huge, like you can think like acres of land, and those animals have they eat, they are always eating, they breed them for meat. So it means they are taking out a lot of waste. It means they are gods. They are releasing a lot of methane into and you know their waste is methane that once they are stored is methane. And methane is like very huge it contributes a huge fund. It's stronger than CO2.
Wow, I was about to ask that.
Yeah, it's stronger than CO2. So these animals are very, very huge emitters. Like the whole process of just having huge ranches and all this, they emit CO2. However, in Africa, the context is different. I think the context of animal rearing is very different. There's also a place of life where we feel like we shouldn't consume animals because of the fact that they also have emotions. Now, all these things are cultural, right? We see things from different perspectives. So, for you as a nutritionist, what would you say is a diet that is conscious of the environment? Like, give me a Nigerian dish.
Nice. Okay.
Actually, like this, like that.
We're taking our rice, like this ofada rice. They are local products from us.
Mm-hmm.
So
which means you don't need to travel
to import them. Yeah. Our local farmers can actually get those ones for us.
Right.
Same as you taking moi. This is our
legumes.
Yeah. They are locally produced. We can get them from local farmers. We don't need to really travel. Something you can get from near markets, just like that. And our fruits also, actually most of our fruits, like the ones around, can actually be cultivated by us. We can actually like watermelon.
So you're very heavy on like locally produced.
Yeah, food. Taking more of local produced food actually. Trying to reduce a little more of importations.
Because that way reduces emissions, food is locally grown, community driven, and that way it's even original to our culture.
Yeah.
It's probably much more healthy, and yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's a very smart way to think about food and climate. You're not eating. We're having jollof rice. Jollof rice is, for the context of what we're doing, jollof rice is traditional meal in Nigeria. It's made with rice and tomatoes, pepper, what else is it making?
Spices.
Spices. Usually it's eaten with beef or chicken. It's like a huge deal in Nigeria. Or even in West Africa in general. Sometimes early this year, the Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria said we need to fast and pray to tackle food security in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay. Now it's a matter of availability and accessibility. Now, are they available? How easy is it for people to access it? Now, one way food can be very easily accessible to us is we taking using the concept of home gardens, community gardens, having them planted very near us, like somewhere we can easily access it. Now there are quite a number of things we can grow as individuals, like peppers, vegetables, fruits. Quite a number of fruits can actually be produced by ourselves, like we can cultivate it ourselves. So I think it make them very accessible for us.
I think it makes perfect sense to think about it like that because the conversations even among farmers in Nigeria is that we need to start doing home gardening. We need to start doing home gardening because obviously the food that is in farms is not enough for everyone. So it's a conversation of availability. It's also a conversation of accessibility. I think that also we need to figure out ways to make sure that farmers are able to get food to the market. It's a whole value chain of, first of all, getting the seeds to the farmers planting, the products from the farm, how to manage it so it doesn't waste. And these are all value chains that people can create solutions in. Yeah, all these areas and the food getting to the market and then to the final consumer. So I think that these are all ways that we can figure out solutions in to improve food security in Nigeria rather than praying and fasting.
That's why I used to ask like most people have this notion of nutrition starts from the plate.
Okay.
It's actually not 100% true because it actually starts from the field, where it's coming from, the environment it's coming from, and those in charge of it. Because for instance now, this plastics of the thing. Now, we not disposing them properly, recycling them, if they're just anyway, contribute to the water, our waterways, like disrupting the waterways, and there's no proper water flow, and even when there is a proper water flow, it's already contaminated. Now, we watering the farm produce with contaminated water. We growing them on soils that chemicals have already affected the nutrients. Now, them yielding and coming to us as food, the nutrients are no longer complete. So it affects.
That's very true. I want to ask another question, and this is out of what we discussed previously. As someone who is interested in nutrition, environmental sustainability, health of people, you care for people, what are the challenges and areas? What are the things that you feel like as a young person in this time and age from Africa, what are the things that you feel like you want to communicate? What are the ideas that you have, or like the problems that you currently face and ways that you think that it can be improved on to support people that are in this space like yourself, just trying to figure out things? What are the things that you feel like needs to be brought into the conversations?
Okay. Take for instance now, this farmers, for example, this CO2 stores, gases,
greenhouse gases.
Yeah, that are from these cow dungs or probably, and some of them they use it as manure. It makes the crop grow faster actually, but it affects the nutrients. but they don't consider these things. Yeah.
So organic manure.
Manure, yes. It makes like the crops grow faster, but some of our nutrients are missing.
How?
The reaction, like, I want to put this.
Do you feel like they need to do soil testing before they use organic manure?
Manures, yeah. These manures, they kind of react with most of our nutrients. The manures and the soil interacting with each other now. So most of the nutrients that are supposed to kind of come out with it are not complete.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have less nutritious crops.
So we need to figure out strategies to make sure that when we are putting in the manure, we know exactly what is in the manure.
Manure, yeah.
And so that it's able to balance what is in the soil.
Soil.
Right.
But we don't, as long as the crop is growing faster.
So a bountiful harvest doesn't always convert into
100% nutritious meal.
It's a 100% nutritious meal. It's interesting that you say that. Okay, I think I like where we're going to. So, what are your ambitions as a person? Yeah.
Like I said, I want to go into sustainable nutrition. So I really want to help in that aspect, like, giving counsels, advices on the meals you can take that won't affect your health and teen parents. Right now that's what I'm really strong about.
Interesting. Okay, that's nice. It's nice to hear this. I'm sure there are like associations or like groups around the world that are focused on sustainable nutrition. I think you should check them out. Reach out to some of them. Hopefully, we have some when we drop this video. What advice would you give to somebody? I mean, you studied nutrition in school. You're based in Nigeria. What advice would you give to somebody who finds themselves in the nutrition space in Nigeria? What are the realities like, and what advice would you give to somebody? What are the realities of what it means to be a nutritionist in Nigeria? Since this is not usually in Nigeria, this is not we don't really care a lot about our
Okay. We should try not to compromise. Yeah, we should try not to compromise, and we should make our voices a little bit more loud. Because people don't tend to kind of respect nutrition. Yeah. Like they don't even care about, like, okay, when I was in IT at FMC, and after the doctors have met with the patient and they're like, okay, now you need to hear from a nutritionist, or the meal you are getting from a nutritionist, they kind of like, I can make my meal myself, the kind of what's there, like, what exactly are you really saying? They kind of tend to cancel everything you say about their food.
So they dictate to you, irrespective of what their health is.
They tend to be like, no, I know my body better, with this food, the doctor already said this, and they don't, like, people really need to see that the work of the doctor and the nutritionist is quite different. Yeah. So we really need to make our voice very loud. Not even a little bit right now, very loud. So they really see what we are saying, like, they could understand us. Because it's coming from a place of ignorance, and we know better. So we should make it louder so they can understand us more.
And this is interesting. Like, I know like a lot of people here are not very conscious about diets, right? I'm not saying like I'm some diet master and stuff, right? And now you just talking about it, I very just in truth does make me think about like what it means to probably take our food more seriously, our health more seriously. For me, I'm a very I eat as long as I'm okay, I'm eating, I'm good. So yeah, I think for me, this is something definitely to take in. You know, to be more conscious about what I eat.
Yeah, and actually, you being conscious about what you eat, the things you need to check out for is the portion size and the quality. Like I said, there are quite a number of things that we need and we don't. Like vegetable thing, I think. Even most young people don't get like vegetables.
Right.
So, and it's one of more like a necessity. One of the things we really do need. So we just need to be sure, like, just take out for the portion size, not considering our quality.
I would also ask another question, right? And obviously after this you can ask your question. So in nutrition, you've talked a lot about like farming. You've talked a lot about like your health. We've talked obviously about why we should pay more conversations to the food that we eat. What is one area that you feel that everybody seems to miss out on? Like a controversial topic that is in relation to nutrition.
Food taboos, yeah.
Sorry?
Food taboos, like myths about some kind of people take some kind of things. You know, take for instance pregnant women. Culturally, there are some kind of meals, there's some kind of food that culturally are not suitable for them.
Wow.
Well, when it comes to nutrition and their health medically, you want them to take it.
Like,
This is very common one, snail. Culturally, especially for people in Yoruba aspect, they don't want their pregnant women to eat snail. They say it's out, it's going to be sluggish, slow. But snail has quite a number of nutrients into this. So there are kind of a lot of taboos, myths that
are wrong.
Yes.
So how was your experience like?
It was fun and educative. Yeah, learned something from you.
You had a lot of fun, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
And so would you like to go on a date like this next time?
Yeah, sure. But for it next time.
Alright, take care. Bye.
Take care, yeah.
Bye.